I am basically never going to wear a t-shirt ever again. This is a fact that I've kind of realized about myself as an adult. Something that's changed a lot in the past few years, simply because I do work from home. I am very likely going to be working from home for a very long time in the future. And as a result, basically all of the clothing that I wear now is whatever I find to be the most comfortable. And for me, that is, of course, tank tops. I've already done a whole video about how much I love tank tops. I wear tank tops all the time. In the winter, I might wear basically an undershirt with some kind of long sleeve shirt or hoodie or a sweatshirt or something over it. But aside from that, I'm basically wearing tank tops all the time because they are simply what I feel most comfortable in. I'm also somebody who works out a lot. And so it's also something where it is a piece of clothing that I can wear to the gym. Doesn't get too stinky because it's not going to absorb a ton of sweat in my armpits or anything like that. And then I can then wear it at home, change it out, not have to worry about it. It makes my life a lot simpler. So the reality is that I just don't like wearing t-shirts. Sensory-wise, I just don't like having that much fabric on my body. And I've realized that basically now, as a result, the past few years, since making this change, I don't really have any reason to wear t-shirts ever again. Most of the t-shirts that I have are basically just taking up space in my drawers. They're not really getting any use. They're not doing anything. And so I decided to put them to a different use. So this video is not about me getting into Marie Kondoing. This is not about me getting into minimalism or anything like that. This is also not me, doing the whole Steve Jobs thing where I'm like, hey, guess what? I've bought, 10 copies of the same shirt and that's all I'm going to wear forever. That is somewhat close to the way that I do things. Quite honestly, it's more like I have about 5 or 10 different shirts that I alternate through just because I like having a little bit of variety. But I do wear the same things over and over again because ultimately I don't think that much about clothing. I like to have a few things that I look good in, and that's really it. I don't really feel the need to have 10, 20, 30, 40 different outfits that I might someday come back to. And so as a result, I've got all these t-shirts that I used to wear, a lot of them that I still like or, used to like even, where it's something where it's just like, I'm really not going to wear it ever again. I think also that something that happened is that I am getting older. And as I'm getting older, I'm starting to realize that all my old t-shirts that have, silly memes on them, bands that I used to like, gyms that I used to work at, fitness brands, things like that, I find them a little bit cringe. Not in the sense that, of course, it's cringeworthy to just wear some t-shirts with some stuff on them, but because they just represent a younger phase of my life, and I feel like I've matured to the point where a lot of those things are kind of behind me. And so it's kind of like, why would I want to go out wearing, this shirt with this goofy meme on it? It doesn't really feel like something that I would really be into. So I decided to put my shirts to work in a different way, which is to say cutting them up for use as rags. So this is something where I think that maybe I grew up with this. Maybe not everyone had this experience, but essentially when I was a kid, my parents always were into this. It was like we had this giant box in the closet downstairs that was full of rags. And these rags were made up of just all kinds of strips of fabric that we had, bits of stuff left over from my mother's sewing projects. Anytime you had a shirt that you didn't want anymore, you would cut it up and it would go in the bin. And of course, these rags are not going to be the best in the world. They're not going to be the most absorbent, but that's not really the point, right? The point of a rag is that it's just a piece of cloth that you can reuse when you need to wipe stuff up. And so, maybe it's not the most absorbent material in the world if it's, just an old cotton t-shirt, but it doesn't matter too much. You could just grab another one if you need to. And so that's a project that I have been getting into recently, is just cutting up all of my old t-shirts to make into rags. And I do have to say that it does feel a little bit nostalgic to kind of go through all these old shirts and realize I really do like this shirt. I like it a lot. I wish that I was still into wearing it or I wore it regularly, but I just don't have any reason to. and I haven't worn it in years, and now it's just taking up space in my drawers. With these taken out of my drawers, it also means that I have a lot more space. I'm not constantly doing the thing where I'm kind of like, oh, I really want this one particular shirt, but it's just been lost in a sea of all kinds of other shirts at the same time. So this is a strategy that I am using because it solves a lot of problems. It gives us more reusable rags because we don't have a lot at the moment, and it also frees up a lot of space. It enables me to reuse this material so that it doesn't go to waste. I believe really strongly in recycling and reusing, and I don't think that you should just throw away old clothing when you're done using it. I think that you should find a better use for it, and that you should be trying to minimize the excess waste that you create. So that's really all for this video. I hope you liked this video. I hope that it maybe gave you some ideas about maybe some clothes that you have that you're holding on to that you don't need anymore. As always, don't hesitate to like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you would like to see in future videos. I will talk to you all next week. Have a good one.